Hello, welcome to Study Circle. Today we are going to read class 7th Geography, Chapter 3, Our Changing Earth. This video is very useful for those who are preparing for STET, CTET and JTET. So continue till last. The Earth's crust consists of several large and some small, rigid, irregularly shaped plates which carry continents and the ocean floor called lithospheric plates. These plates move around very slowly, just a few millimeters each year because of the movement of the molten magma inside the Earth. The Earth movements are divided on the basis of the forces which cause them: endogenic forces and exogenic forces. Endogenic forces, the forces which act in the interior of the Earth, and exogenic forces are the forces that work on the surface of the Earth. Endogenic forces, literal meaning endo means inside and genic means origin. Endogenic forces sometimes produce sudden movements and at other times produce slow movements. Sudden movements like earthquake and volcanoes cause mass destruction over the surface of the earth. Volcano. A volcano is a vent or opening in the earth's crust through which molten material erupts suddenly. Earthquakes. When the lithospheric plates move, the surface of the earth vibrates, which vibration can travel all around the earth. These vibrations are called earthquakes. The place in the crust where the movement is start is called the focus, and the place on the surface above the focus is called the epicenter. Earthquakes cannot be predicted, however, the impact can certainly be minimized if we are prepared beforehand. Some common earthquake prediction methods adopted locally by people include studying animal behavior, fish in the ponds get agitated, and snakes come to the surface. Earthquake preparedness, where to take shelter during an earthquake. Safe spot, stay away from fireplaces, be prepared. Safe spot under a kitchen counter, table or desk against an inside corner or all. Stay away from fireplaces, areas around chimneys, windows that shatter including mirrors and picture frames. Be prepared, spread awareness amongst your friends and family members and face any disaster confidently. Exogenic forces, literally meaning exo means outside and genic means origin. Major landforms. The landscape is being continuously worn away by two processes, weathering and erosion. Weathering is the breaking up of rocks on the earth's surface, and erosion is the wearing away of landscape by different agents like water, wind, and ice. Work of a river. The running water in the river erodes the landscape. When the river tumbles at a steep angle over very hard rocks or down a steep valley side, it forms a waterfall. As the river enters the plain, it twists and turns, forming large beds known as meanders. Due to continuous erosion and depositions along the sides of meander, Oxbow Lake is created over time. When the river overflows its banks, it leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. This leads to the formation of a flat, fertile floodplain. The raised banks are called levees. As the river approaches the sea, the speed of flowing water decreases and the river begins to break up. The breaking of river into number of streams called distributaries. The river becomes so slow that it begins to deposit its load. Each distributary forms its own mouth. The collection of sediments from all mouths forms a delta. Work of sea waves. The erosion and deposition of sea waves give rise to coastal landforms. Sea waves continuously strike at the rocks, cracks develop, and they become larger and wider. Thus, hollow-like caves are formed on the rocks, which are called sea caves. Over time, these cavities become bigger and bigger. Only the roof of the caves remain, which result in formation of sea arches. Further erosion breaks the roof and only walls are left. These wall-like features are called stacks. The steep rocky coast rising among vertically above seawater is called sea cliff. The sea waves deposit sediments along the shores forming beaches. Work of ice. A glacier is a large mass of ice continuously moving over land surface which to erode the landscape by bulldozing soil and stones to expose the solid rock below. Glaciers carve out deep hollows. As the ice melts, they get filled up with water and become beautiful lakes in the mountain. The material carried by the glaciers, such as rocks, big and small, sand and silt, gets deposited. Their deposits form glacial moraines. Here is a picture from NCERT books that what is stacks and what is sea arc and what is sea cave. And this is the picture of glacier. Work of wind. An active agent of erosion and deposition in the desert is called wind. In desert, rocks are present in shape of mushroom, commonly called mushroom rocks. Wind erodes the lower section of the rock more than the upper part. Therefore, such rocks have narrower base and wider top. When the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. When it stops blowing, the sand falls and gets deposited in low hill-like structure, which are called sand dunes. When the grains of sands are very fine and light, the wind can carry it over the very long distances. When such sand is deposited in large areas, it is called loess. When the grains of sand are very fine and light, the wind can carry it over a very long distances, and such sand is deposited in large areas, it is called loess. Large deposit of loess is found in China. Important glossary of this chapter is endogenic forces. The forces that act in the interior of the earth is called endogenic forces. Exogenic forces. The forces that act on the surface of the earth are called exogenic forces. Earthquake. The vibration caused by the movement of the lithospheric plates are called earthquakes. Focus. The place in crust where the movement starts is called the focus. Epicenter. The place on the surface above the focus is called epicenter. Weathering. The breaking up of rocks on the earth's surface is known as weathering. Erosion. The wearing away of the landscape by different agents like water, wind, and ice is called erosion. Waterfall. A place where a river or a stream falls from high place, for example over a cliff or rock, is known as waterfall. Meander. Large bends formed by twisting and turning of a river while entering a plain, known as meanders. Food plains. Food plains are areas where fine soil and other material get deposited during floods. These are very fertile. Levees. The raised bank of a river is known as levees. Distributary. As the river approaches the sea, the speed of flowing water decreases and the river begins to break up into number of streams called distributaries. Delta. It is a triangular area of land where a river has split into many smaller rivers before entering the sea. Sea caves. Sea caves are hollow-like caves formed on the rocks. Sea arcades. When the cavities become very big, only the roof of the caves remain, known as sea arches. Stacks. Further erosion breaks the roof and only all-like features remain. These features are called stacks. Sea cliff. The steep rocky coast rising among the vertically above sea water is called sea cliff. Beaches. The sea waves deposit sediments along the shores to form beaches. Mushroom rocks. In desert, rocks in the shape of a mushrooms are very common. These are called mushroom rocks. Sand dunes. In desert, when wind stops blowing, the sand falls and gets deposited in low hill-like structure known as sand dunes. Loess. When the very fine and light grain of sand gets deposited in large areas, it is called loess. It is mainly found in China. Here are some pictures from your NCERT book about volcano. This is the picture of volcano, how it works. Volcano, this is called magna chamber. This is mantle, this is crust, lava. This is called vent, crater, gas and ashes. This is the earth movement and endogenic forces, exogenic forces, sudden force, diastrophic forces, earthquake, building mountains, volcano, landslides. In exogenic forces, erosional and depositional, river, wind, sea waves, glacier. Thank you.